Greetings yet one more time from West Craig Hill Drive. 1 week ago on January 6th, Epiphany, I turned on my television to see what was happening in our world, and I was appalled by what I saw. A mob of unruly people approaching the United States Capitol building, wherein both houses of Congress reside. I was shocked by what I continued to see as men and women, some armed and some not, attempting to overturn the presidential election. As I write this, we know that 5 people, and now perhaps even 6 people, died, including one Capitol police officer, as a result of this attempted coup d'etat. I saw images of senators and staff being ushered to secure rooms, horrified that they might be hurt or even killed by those who had breached the perimeter of the Capitol building. One of my colleagues, Reverend Doug Stewart, who is the pastor of the Incarnate Word Lutheran Church downtown, said in his sermon this past Sunday that he was horrified by what he saw, as was I. He and I were shocked, fearful, and even angry at what we saw. As many of you already know, my great-grandfather 9 generations ago signed the Mayflower Compact, and thus would be considered, I think, one of the country's founders. And I believe that what we saw Wednesday was clearly not what our country was meant to be. We remain in a kind of wilderness where people are confused and want to choose leadership who best exemplifies what it is that our country was meant to be. But what we saw were people bent on insurrection who think that violence will bring them their answer in the middle of a pandemic. They need to be held accountable. I pray that I never again see what I saw last week. On this past Sunday, the gospel that Pastor Stewart depended upon for his sermon was the story of Jesus' baptism, found in Mark's gospel. It is there in the wilderness where John the Baptizer baptizes our Lord. John and Jesus were there in the wilderness, but more importantly, so is God. We are never left alone, whether in the wilderness or at home, in the warmth of our living rooms. The God of justice, love, and peace remains with us. He will not forsake us. We must embody that same love, peace, and justice of our God, for we are the church of Jesus Christ, the very same Jesus who said, "Let your light so shine before others that they may see your good news and glorify your Father in heaven." May it be so. Our faith calls us to acts of love, kindness, and compassion. Our faith reminds us that the power of God aligns with the poor and the abandoned, the weak and the hungry, the oppressed and the marginalized. We call on all people of faith and goodwill to use what we saw on January 6, 2001 as a call to justice and a reminder of what happens when evil goes unchallenged. I invite all of the members of the United Church of Christ and all churches, temples, and mosques to a period of sober reflection and fervent prayer. We further urge brave conversation and willingness to break down the barriers between us and within our communities. May we as church offer a clear witness to the bold love, honest confession, and simple humility required of us all in this moment. In the words of the prophet Micah, let us go forth to do justice, love kindness, and walk humbly with our God. Let us remember the words of the psalmist in Psalm 133 and 134, which paraphrased goes like this: O God, how precious it is for us and how pleasing it must be to you when your sons and servants learn how to live and work together in unity. It is in the measure that we do this that we begin to resemble you and to carry out most effectively your purposes in our disjointed and discordant world. Come, let us together bless his name, rejoice in his loving concern for us, declare his worth to all creatures, and walk in obedience to his will. It is the same God who made heaven and earth, and all of us who dwell therein. Let us worship and serve him together. Well, that is the end of today's meditation. God bless you, and have a wonderful day. See you next time.